Hi guys, my name is Lizelle from Lizelle Loves Books and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please consider sticking around. If you're not new here, welcome back. Today is going to be my start of a reading vlog. I want to read the Off Balance series by Lucia Franco because it's McKay from Oh Hey McKay, Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl, Jess from Honest Fiction, and Caitlin the Love Librarian. They all love this series and I just need to know, am I gonna like it or not? So please enjoy this reading vlog. I know it's taboo. I know it's a gymnast and a gym coach. They said it's very angsty. And just to let you know, it's going to be a spoiler vlog. And yeah, come along with me on this journey as I tackle Lucia Franco's Off Balance series. Hi guys, it's Thursday and I finished book 1 in the Off Balance series. I finished Balance. So Balance starts out with Adriana asking her dad if she can go to a gymnastics gym out of state because she wants to go to the Olympics. Her dad doesn't want her to go out of state, but he knows someone that can help her achieve her goals to be in the Olympics. Called Konstantin Kova. So he calls his acquaintance, because Kova and him are acquaintances, and so he asked Kova if he can train his daughter. Kova says yes. And the only reason her dad is agreeing to this whole situation is because it's not out of state. It's only 3 hours away. The gym is 3 hours away. She has her own apartment. Her family is very rich. Her mom and her dad drop her off at the gym and they sign the paperwork for Adriana to be a part of Kova's gym. And you can see at that point that while her dad is being very attentive towards her, her mom couldn't care less. So I don't know what that's about. And after her parents leave and drop her off, and she's very surprised to learn that instead of being the owner of the gym, that Kova is actually a coach and the owner of the gym. And she was very flustered because Adriana basically thought to herself that her coach would be this old dude and not this attractive looking person. So the next couple of days, Adriana goes to the gym, and then Kova tells her, show me what you can do. Show me what you learn from the other gymnastic gym. And Adriana does show Kova what she can do, but basically Kova tells her she sucks. Like, she doesn't have flexibility, she's not holding the bars correctly, and he's basically asking her, why do you want this? And she replied, because I want to be in the Olympics. So, because of her determination and her drive and her lack of training, Kova's like, you're going to work extra hours with me. I'm going to teach you the correct way to do things because you did not learn the things you were supposed to learn. So, Adriana and Kova begin these private lessons, like before anybody uses the gym, and he stretches her out and shows her a few techniques. But her attraction to Kova grows, and it's her pursuing him for a relationship and not the other way around. Yes, I know Adriana is 16, but they don't get into a physical relationship until she turns 17. She relentlessly pursues Adriana relentlessly pursues Kova. Kova tries really hard to resist her because he knows if he crosses the line, he could get fired from his job. And he also has a girlfriend. So there is cheating in this series because he does have a girlfriend. But try as he might, Kova cannot resist Adriana's advances. Like, she is very brutal and she goes after what she wants, and what she wants is Kova. And they do share a kiss, but Kova tries really hard to forget it. But then one day, it was after the gym session. It was when everybody left, and Kova was there doing gymnastics for himself, and he didn't know anybody was there, so Adriana watches him. And one thing leads to another. They're making out, and Kova's girlfriend comes in and stops them. So that was their first attempt at getting together, but Kova was so glad nothing happened. But then there was a couple more times a situation like that happened, and as I said, she relentlessly pursues him, and something does happen between them. Like they get intimate with each other, but Kova finds out through conversation at the gym that Ria was a virgin, and he's mad because she did not say anything. Like, why didn't you communicate to me that you were a virgin? And then Ria had to go to the doctor because she was feeling pain, and it was almost a pregnancy scare because the doctor told her he thinks she might be pregnant, but she said, but I've only done it once or twice. How can I be pregnant? And I took the morning after pill. And he's like, well, yeah, you can get pregnant by that. And I just found it very naive for both of them, for them to be getting into steamy situations and not using protection. What did they think was gonna happen? Hopefully she's not pregnant in the first book. She had kidney something with her kidneys, I forgot. And it's a kidney infection. And after Adriana comes back, like a day later, she finds out that Kova has taken her off the competitive team, and then they go into the office, and she basically threatens Kova. She said, if you are gonna take me off the team, I'm gonna tell everybody you raped me. And I was like, hell no, you don't tell him that, because you were the one who pursued him in the first place. He was the one trying to avoid you, but you did everything in your power to get with him, and now you're gonna threaten him by telling someone that he raped you? Hell no, little girl. You don't do that. And that was annoying, because all this time I thought in the book she was so mature, but that was the most immature thing I have ever heard her say. And all of a sudden they get into this heated argument, and they start making out and doing the deed, and who walks in? Hayden, her best friend, her best guy friend in the gym. They get caught. He punches Kova in the face, and Hayden telling telling Adriana that she needs to tell people what's going on, and that's how the book ended. That's Balance, book 1, but Adriana and Kova calls her Rhea, but they are so twisted. They are bad for each other, but good for each other at the same time, because they have. Why I say that is because they had this conversation one time about Kova, about gymnastics, and how Kova went into gymnastics because he wanted to forget everything, and how Adriana, Kova calls her Rhea, how Adriana got into gymnastics for the same thing because she wanted to forget her privileged upbringing, so she connects with Kova in that level. So I can see that they're forming a connection, but I don't know. That last part really, I gotta know what happens. So I'll be back once I finish book 2. Hi guys, it's Friday. The last time I updated you was Thursday. I listened to both Release and Execution and Release on audio. I listened to the first 3 books on audio, which is Balance, Execution, and Release. I'll start off with where I left off, and the second book in the series is called Execution. I left off by saying Hayden caught Kova and Rhea doing it basically in his office, in Kova's office. And I said something wrong. I said Hayden punched him in his office, but he didn't. I got my facts mixed up. Rhea, Adriana, or Rhea, whatever you want to call her. For the sake of this video, I'm going to call her Rhea because Kova, when they're alone, he calls her Rhea. So she takes Hayden to her apartment, explaining the whole situation, that everything is consensual between them, that she was the one who pursued their relationship, and it didn't happen until after her 17th birthday. Kova shows up at Rhea's apartment because he felt bad that he didn't include her in the gymnastics meet, in the gymnastics competition meet. So he went there to apologize, but he couldn't do anything about it now. And he also wanted to make sure that Hayden was not gonna spill the beans on their relationship. But when he gets there, that's when Hayden punches him. And Kova doesn't do anything. He says, "You are not gonna say anything about me and Ria's relationship because I know something about you that I'm keeping a secret for you." So that basically shuts Hayden's trap up because he doesn't want anybody to know his secrets. And then the New Year's Eve party happens at Ria's parents' house. And Ria's mom and dad invites Kova and Katya. Katya is Kova's girlfriend. And to the party, and he calls Katya Malish in front of Rhea, and Rhea, that's what Rhea calls Kova. That's what Kova calls Rhea, is Malish, which is Russian in baby, and it feels like a sucker punch to her, because that's what he calls
Malish
her
means baby in Russian.
So like in a whisper, he tells Kova not to call her that in front of her. But he does it anyway. And Kova can be such a jerk. Why would he call her that in front of Rhea? He takes her to a spare bedroom and they start making out. And this is what I don't get. Do they want to get caught? Seriously? They're making out in a New Year's Eve party. And Kova, I guess leaves his jacket after the party. Kova leaves his jacket at Rhea's parents' house. And they don't do anything there. They just make out. And they stop because they don't want anybody to catch them, in the act while they're doing something. After the party, they go back to training for gymnastics. Rhea's dream is to go to the Olympics. They stay late after practice. Of course, steamy times ensue, but during that time, Kova's phone rings and he didn't hear it. He ignores it. And that was Katya. Katya corners Kova in his office, and Rhea hides under her desk. Rhea hides under Kova's desk, and Katya tells Kova, "Why are you so distant? You never like to be intimate with me anymore." And Kova said, "It's just your imagination. That's not true." So Katya goes down on her knees in front of Kova, and while Rhea sees this under her desk, she's watching the whole situation play out. When Katya leaves, Kova tries to stop her, but Rhea runs right out of the office. the next gymnastics competition is going on. Rhea participates in this one. Her parents are there. She does well, but after her turn in the competition, her leg starts to hurt, so Kova takes her to the locker rooms, and he starts helping her, like massaging her, doing all this stuff, and who walks in? Rhea's mom. And then she's starting to get suspicious, like, why are you always with her? Why are you training her late at night? You're not supposed to do that. And she basically accuses Kova of giving her special treatment, but Kova and Rhea try to play it off like, no, Kova treats all his students like that. He's just giving her extra help. So they thought they were safe. After the gymnastics competition, Rhea goes home to her parents' house, and her mom basically exposes her that she knows about their relationship because Kova left his jacket at her house, and that she's going to send it to Katja, and that she'll basically she's just like her mother. And then her dad and Rhea's dad and her brother walk in. Her mom, Joy, her mom's name is Joy, she gets really drunk from the alcohol, basically spilling all the family secrets, saying that Rhea is not her biological daughter, that Rhea is just like her mom. And of course, she doesn't say anything then, but Rhea gets the picture that she's basically doing what her biological mom did to her dad's relationship, to her parents' relationship, and that's why Rhea's mom, Joy, doesn't like her because she's a product of her husband's affair. That explains a lot about Rhea, about Rhea and her mom's relationship. But in my opinion, it doesn't matter if the child is biologically yours or not. You don't treat a child like the way she treated Rhea. Her sins are not her father's. But I don't know, I guess she couldn't move past the father's affair.
Her father's sins are not hers. And she
also exposes that Avery, Rhea's best friend, and her brother were in a relationship. So that's also news to Rhea. Although that shouldn't be news to her, she just couldn't see it because when she told Avery that she's in a relationship with someone older than her, and Avery tells her she's in a relationship too with someone 5 years older than her. but Mia didn't guess it was her brother, and she should have, in my opinion. It was written like she gave clues to who she was seeing. So basically, after all the stuff was, all the lies and the secrets were exposed throughout her family, she goes to Cobra. They sleep together again. And this time he's very caring toward her, very gentle, because he sees like she's very distraught over something that happened in her parents' house. But Kova, Ria doesn't tell Kova what happened. So the next day at the gym, everybody was telling Kova and Katya congratulations that they're married, and Ria, at the end of the book, she felt very confused because how can Kova and Katya be married when he was just with her the other night? And basically, they tell Ria that Kova and Katya have been married for 2 months, and Ria did the math. Their relationship started 2 months ago. And that's where the book ended. Ria felt very devastated and sucker punched when she found out this news about Kova being married. So that's what happened in Execution. And Release, Ria is still reeling from the news about Kova being married to Katya. So he stays away from her and tells Kova that she just wants a strictly business relationship. No, there can't be anything physical happening between them. Meanwhile, she sleeps with Hayden to try to forget about Kova. And it doesn't work. So, and her and Hayden kind of have an argument because she went through his phone. So they're having a spat. Meanwhile, Ria is getting sicker and sicker, and Kova keeps telling her to go to the doctor and figure out what's going on. So she goes to the doctor, and they ask her, does she have any family history of illnesses? And she says no, but then she remembers Joy is not her biological mother. So she tells the doctor, I don't know exactly. So she goes home to ask her dad about her mom and if she had any illnesses that she should worry about. Only to find out her biological mom is actually there. And so she meets her for the first time. she asked her questions about if she had any history of family illnesses. And she answers her, she had a twin sister who had diabetes and something with her small intestine. She got really sick and she died at the age of 20. So she goes to the doctor with this information. This is released, by the way, the third book. So she goes to the doctor with this information, and then she goes back to training for gymnastics. At the end of the day, Cobra could see she's very distracted about something, so he asked her to go home with her because Katja's not there. They don't do anything. They just talk. Well, I think they kiss once or twice. And he's like, it's basically not what it seems. I did this for you. I did this for you. So something's going on that made Kova have to marry Katja, but we don't know about that yet. And basically, when they're in the house, when they're in the apartment together, Kova, this is my favorite scene in the book, in the series actually. Kova tells Rhea it's actually his birthday and that he doesn't really celebrate his birthday. So, and Katja doesn't do anything for him on his birthday. So Rhea gets a chocolate muffin, a chocolate brownie or muffin, and puts a candle on top of it and sings Kova happy birthday. That's when I knew Kova and Rhea are meant to be. So they spent his birthday together. At the end of the book, at the end of release, she gets a call back from the doctor. They basically tell her she's very, very sick, that she has lupus, and that she has kidney failure. Her kidneys are failing, and that's the end of release. I'll be back when I finish reading the other two books, because the other two books are not in audio. Hi, it's Saturday. I finished reading A Twist. It's about 8 o'clock. So we basically left off where release ended. Rhea finds out she's sick, that she needs a kidney transplant because that's what the doctor told her. Her kidneys are failing. Her dad knows, but she still wants to do gymnastics because it's her dream. Kova can see something is really wrong with her, so he asks her what's wrong, and she doesn't want to tell him what's wrong with her. So the first couple practices he lets it go, but the third day she does practice and she wants to go for a run. Kova confronts her that it's okay, you don't have to do this. I know what's going on. And she's like, how can you know? Basically, he tells her that his father basically told her what was going on with her, what she needed, and Rhea just wants to go home, and Kova's like, let me take you home, let me drive you somewhere, and she says no, but Kova is very persistent. But instead of taking her home, they go to his apartment and they start arguing about why he married Katya when she knows that he doesn't have feelings for her, and she's tired of Kova telling her she did it for you. She did it for her. He did it for her. He married Katya because of her. And she's tired of hearing him say that. So they argue back and forth. Rhea tells Kova she slept with Hayden just to get back at him. And you can see how Kova is sucker punched in the gut after hearing that Rhea slept with Hayden. And finally, she was gonna hurt him. Rhea went in the kitchen and she was gonna hurt herself. And Kova basically spilled the beans that he only married Katya because he was blackmailing him, because she found out about their relationship, about Rhea and Kova's relationship. Like, she found the journals they were writing to each other, and basically that her Joy, her mom, helped Katya find an investigator. So they were basically blackmailing him. If they didn't do what Katya wanted, they were gonna turn Kova into the police. And Rhea is reeling from that. Like, that's why Kova did what he did, and she slept with Hayden without knowing that. But Rhea should have figured it out. I mean, her mom basically told her that she knew about their relationship, and she overheard a conversation with Katya and Kova saying she knows that she knows that he only married her out of necessity, and she should have put 2 and 2 together. But Rhea doesn't use her head when it comes to Kova, but she should have figured it out. So they apologize to each other, and they go back into that relationship. Rhea tries to find a donor for new kidneys. Her dad isn't a match. Neither is her brother, and her mom, her biological mom. They are not a match for her. But her best friend Avery is a match for Rhea. So Avery gives Rhea one of her kidneys, and in the hospital, Kova hugs her. Thank you. And her dad was there watching that. So he starts to get like suspicious, but he doesn't let on. But he has the seeds of doubt because her mom has been saying all this stuff, but her dad is trying to defend it. Rhea saying no, that's not true. So they go home. They do. The doctor tells her. I think the doctor tells her she has lupus. They go home, and Leah hasn't been feeling well for a while, so she decides to take a pregnancy test, and it's positive. So she's pregnant, and she tells her best friend that she's pregnant, and she wants to get an abortion because she doesn't want to give her up her dreams. So she goes to tell Koba the news that she's pregnant, and they're in his apartment together. He tells Koba the news, but that she doesn't want the baby, that she can't give up on her dreams, and he's telling her that's okay. And I knew this was gonna happen because they sleep together. Rhea and Koba sleep together without protection all the time. But Rhea decides to take a shower. Somebody rings the doorbell, and it's Rhea's dad. He goes to Koba's apartment, and Rhea just came out of the shower in nothing but a t-shirt, and her dad goes ballistic. Punches are being thrown, and Rhea tries to stop her dad, but she ends up getting knocked around by their fight. She ends up hurting her arm, and she goes to the floor, and all of a sudden she starts bleeding, and that's where a twist ends. Hi, it's Sunday. I finished reading the last book in the Balance series by Lucia Franco, and Dismount picked off where Twist left off. After the fight, Rhea has a miscarriage. Because of the fight, Koba ends up in jail because her dad had him in for assault because he couldn't pin the other charges he wanted to pin on him, because they started their relationship when she was of age. She was 17, so he couldn't pin rape charges against him, but he had him in for assault. But that doesn't stick. Koba eventually gets out of jail. To help Rhea go to the Olympics. It's the Olympics. Rhea wins she goes to Olympics with Koba, promising her dad that nothing is going to happen between them. I just want to help her with the Olympics. And so she gets her new kidney because of her best friend. she trains for the Olympics. They go. She actually does really well in the Olympics. She gets her medal. And after Kova and Rhea knows that their time is running out because her dad, there's no way he's gonna allow their relationship. So they know they have to separate eventually. Not eventually, after the Olympics is over. So they spend time together for one last time before they part, because they need to part ways. They need to figure out what they want in each other's lives besides being with each other. They need to figure themselves out. After the Olympics, Rhea is going to college and Cobra is gonna continue working with gymnastics. At the airport, Cobra drops her off and he gives Cobra gives Rhea a present, like basically their journals to each other. He gives her that, and basically they separate for like 5 years, but Kova, during that time, besides giving her journal, Kova writes to her throughout the years, telling her what his feelings are for her, and basically telling her that he loves her and please continue to wait for him. And it's basically like, I think it's been 5 years. And Kova comes back and she's like 25 now, and it says 15 years later they're married, they have 4 daughters. She's pregnant again with the 5th daughter. We basically know her father approved of their marriage because they have kids now, and it's 15 years later he couldn't.
She's pregnant with a boy, not a girl.
But
it's a boy.
They have a family and they're still working at the gym together. She's pregnant with a son and they have 4 daughters. And their one daughter has muscular dystrophy, I believe. So it really wrapped up really nicely. I love the fact that Kova has 4 daughters. So, cause and they deserve their HEA. Kova and Rhea are meant to be together. I didn't like Kova until I read Twist. He redeems himself. I fell for Kova when he wrote the letters in their journals to Rhea. I think they are soulmates. I'm really glad I read this series. I read the series because Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl, McKay from Oh Hey It's McKay, and Caitlin from The Love Librarian, and Jess from Honest Fiction all love this series, and I can say I love this series too. I can't wait to find out about Avery and Xander's story. Xander or Xavier? Avery and Rhea's brother's story. I can't wait for that next year. I'm really glad I read the series. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And please go check out the Off Balance series.